There we go.
Look at this. Last minute adjustments. Just getting everything ready because we are actually live at an event now. This is cool. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. This is excellent. Hi, everyone. Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m. It's Innovation Fika with me, Donnie, and you, of course, watching, and we're the guests, as usual. As you know, every Wednesday afternoon, 2:30 p.m., I go live on LinkedIn, YouTube, and lots of other channels with my Innovation Fika. Fika in Swedish means coffee break, so we're having a coffee break with interesting people talking about interesting things. As usual, everybody online, please jump in, add your comments, add your questions, and let us know who you are, where you're from, and we'll keep the dialogue going. You'll find all of the recordings on YouTube. This is number 102, episode 102 actually now. So 101 episodes on YouTube so far. All of my written content, I write kind of on a daily basis on LinkedIn. And I've also started posting on Instagram again. I've had it lying dormant for a while, but I've started on a daily basis posting on Instagram again. So check out my Instagram account, Donnie S. Ligones, for like the everyday updates. LinkedIn is more sort of, leadership, inspiration, entrepreneurship, and stuff like that. Enough about that. Enough about me. I'm here with Lina. Wonderful to be here at the event in Kista, the Impact by Demand Network, which is a whole new network that you've helped set up, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. But I will start, as I always start, by asking our guests, so Lina, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Lina Svensberg, and I'm working as an innovation manager in the Compare Foundation based in Kista, Western Sweden.
Okay, so you work with innovation support as well, or?
Yes, I do. I've started an accelerator program, an incubator, and I'm working a lot with the interaction between the public sector and the startups.
Okay, and this is interesting because the public sector, that's what we'll be talking about today as well. Because the one of the headings for this recording today is how public demand can pull innovation. And just tell me about the network that you've started, the Impact by Demand Network. What is that?
Yes, it started as a couple of people getting together and saying that, we've been talking about this public sector startup interaction, how demand can drive innovation for so long. And we always say we should do something about it. We should gather, we should join forces, we should do something together. But no one raises their hand and does it. So we just decided to do so. And we started engaging friends and people around us that we know. And now we are here today. It's the first big physical meetup. And we are around 70 people from the whole Swedish innovation ecosystem that is meeting and discussing these questions.
I spoke here at the event as well previously, just before the session. I'm super impressed with what they've managed to achieve because even though you said it, I want to repeat what you said, that a lot of people talk about that, we should get together one day and we should get everybody together in the room and talk about important things. And that is exactly what you and the other people in the network have done. 70 people from the whole Swedish innovation system coming together, talking about how public demand can both drive and pull. I'll call it pull innovation. Yeah. So let's talk about that and the whole sort of public demand part of it. Yeah. Sort of, what do you see? Tell me more about that.
Yeah, what I see is that when you talk about public procurement, etc., that few people realize how powerful that is. On a European level, that is 14% of the European GDP is public procurement.
Public procurement is 14%.
Yes, that's 2 trillion euros per year.
Wow.
And in a Swedish context, that is 800 billions per year. Yeah. And if you check the whole Uminova budget, the Swedish Innovation Agency, that's 4 billion budget. That's 0.5%. So if you can just get a small fraction of the public procurement resources to fuel and initiate innovation, we could achieve so much more than what we're currently doing.
And that is something that is, I'll just latch onto that one because the public sector in general, in most countries, is a underutilized sector when it comes to driving innovation.
Yes.
Right, and in Sweden we have something called innovation procurement.
Yeah, that exists also in Europe.
Yeah, in Europe as well.
Yeah.
And what does that mean, though, for the people who never heard that before?
Well, that depends. There's actually no real set definitions, or there are many. It's not a specific kind of procedure. It's more a term for when you procure products or services that don't just exist in the market, and you try to initiate the development of that through through procurement. So that is basically a term. But where the limit is new to the specific customer? Is it new to the market? There's still a bit of gray scale there.
Yeah. But the interesting thing, though, is that using procurement to buy something that doesn't exist yet. So
yes,
you're actually asking for somebody to develop something new.
Yes.
as opposed to buying something off the shelf.
Yes.
Yeah. So in my words again, then I talk about innovation pull.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage more innovation pull.
Yeah.
Because where I work normally in a very sort of tech-driven environment, it's a lot of innovation push.
Yes.
And the traditional model of innovation is, hey, I've come up with an idea, and who wants this? And then it's like marketing, and it doesn't sort of start with a need and then creating a pull for a new idea there. And how do you see that sort of coming into play here?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're working with. And I have developed a new, together with Uminova and Kista municipalities, etc. We've developed a new innovation procurement model that's called the demand acceleration, where we integrate scalable innovation procurement with incubation.
Okay.
Because what we've seen when we do like the normal incubation is that you have to help these teams, these startups, to validate the need. Does someone want to pay for it? Who wants to pay for it? Who are the users? Where can you get the feedback from? But if you start with someone already wanting to pay someone to solve that need, you kind of have a lot for free. So then you can combine with just like, okay, who else wants to buy this? How can we spread this? How can we scale this? How can we get this first customer's need as a leverage for reaching the market that doesn't have to be public? If you see in Swedish industrial history, a lot of these Swedish big companies, the big engineering inventions, etc., they started as a result of the Swedish state buying from them, buying the innovation, etc. So this is a very powerful tool, but we've kind of lost that a little bit along the way.
I know. I mean, that's one of the most well-known in the sort of in Swedish innovation history is, of course, the mobile telephony with the Swedish national telephone company actually ordering a technology that didn't exist yet.
Exactly.
And then developing the whole sort of mobile telephony as we know it today with how mobile phones kind of work.
Yes.
So but we're looking at the public sector then. What do they need to learn in order to sort of make this work? Because I mean, it doesn't feel like it comes sort of natural to them, or does it?
No, it doesn't. Because I think in public sector, you don't want to make mistakes, and you want to handle taxpayers' money carefully, and this is a good thing. But this means that you don't want to take too much risk, and you want to make sure that you have a plan and you have the specific requirements, etc., which is very good for in many cases. But when it's about innovation is the definition of innovation is that you don't know if it's going to work. It's a journey into the unknown. Yeah. So if you try to create a false sense of security by working through very detailed specs, etc., you create a false sense of security. Yeah. So what you can do is that you need to integrate some degree of controlled risk taking into the process. You need to find a way to manage uncertainty. Yeah. But what you can do is instead of analyzing very thoroughly and carefully beforehand, and then take the big decision if you're going to go, you can take small decisions, risking a little bit at a time. Yeah. So the lesser you know, the smaller risk you take. And when you achieve a bigger degree of certainty, you can afford to take a bit of bigger risk. So you work around the affordable loss concept. Yeah.
But it feels though that, I mean, this is probably like on a side note, but historically we've seen all of these huge projects being initiated with, it's like billions and billions and billions, and they tend to go wrong. And but what does that go to? I mean, how can we? Was that got anything to do with how we can work with those kind of?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the most common feedback I get when I talk about these kind of processes of procuring something you don't know what it is, etc., is that, but how can you? Then you take a risk. What happens if you don't get the result that you want? Yeah. And then when you go back to talk about these big, enormous projects where you had all the specs and requirements in the world, and you still didn't get what you want.
No.
So I mean, it's actually a cheaper way to start working with small risk taking, and because the moment that the least of something, that's when you start. Yeah. When you start working, you get to learn more. So by building in all these requirements and all this structure and all this how it's supposed to work, and not from the beginning, that cannot be right when you don't know what you're achieving. But it's a mindset shift.
Yeah, it is. And what if I'm a startup? What if I'm like an innovator, and I would want to work with or sell to or work with, in any way, sort of the public sector? Yeah. I mean, do I just wait for them to say, "Oh, here's a new innovation procurement thing"? I mean, well, how can I navigate as an innovator or like a startup or anybody that wants to? How do I navigate this?
Yeah. This depends very much there's not just one way to sell to the public sector. I mean, if you have a new product that hasn't existed in the market before and you want to try to get kind of an interest, it's very similar to like corporate sales.
Yeah.
You need to get your contact person, you need to understand who makes the decision. Maybe you want to read up also on so you know who in this organization can take which decision, exactly like corporate sales. But if you have something that's just a better version of something they are already procuring, then you need to stay tuned on when are they going to renew the contracts. 1 year before that, normally they go into market dialogue. You need to squeeze yourself in there and try to make them see your point of view. So when the procurement document comes out, that it reflects what you want to sell to them. So it's not at all very different from corporate sales, I would say. And then you have, of course, these innovation procurements. They're quite specific when they have realized something that they need. And if you see that your technology could fit into that, even if it wasn't your original thought, then give it a go.
Okay. I mean, it's interesting though that we tend to see there's private over here and then there's public over there, and it's like, but it still is people. I mean, people are people, and organizations that are buying things or services. It's just that in the public sector we have a more sort of legally set public procurement setup than you have in the private sector.
Yes.
But it's about, as you said, it's about understanding who has what need, how can you solve that need, and then keep your eyes open for what's going on as well.
And one thing that you don't want to skip when it's sell to the public is kind of the customer discovery idea. I mean, what are the requirements? They might have different data protection policies that you are aware of, and you also need to try to be able to make yourself buyable. We see a lot of entrepreneurs where the public buyer, they love their idea, but they are not able to buy from them for different reasons. So that's a way that you can read up on it. And it doesn't hurt to at least learn the 5 basic principles of public procurement. I mean, it's very much about transparency and so on, but also many buyers on the public side are unnecessarily cautious. They're afraid of dialogue, etc. So if you're an entrepreneur, learn just the basics. You can read it on the Swedish Public Procurement Agency's website or whatever. You just get an idea of how that works. That helps you a lot. And many municipalities are also trying to invite suppliers more. They're trying to be more helpful. They're trying to get information on how they can get more helpful. So there is a market out there. It's not.
But what about? I mean, I speak to startups, and they're kind of scared of public procurement because they feel that it's always you have to. All this information has to be filled in, and will they trust us? We're only a startup. We're a small company, and will we even be considered? And I hear a lot of those sort of things when it comes to any.
Yeah, I mean, of course, that's that aspect of things, but you need to balance that also. I mean, first of all, I think you should ask if you're an incubator or an accelerator, that also the kind of startup professionals help you with that. It's not a widespread knowledge among the startup professionals to help with public procurement, but it should be because it's a big market. And now when we are looking at a bit shaky economy, that the public buyer will still be there. And it might take a while, but you might get big contracts and very stable contracts once you're there. So of course I cannot tell any startup what they should do or should not do, but I just want to give a bit more nuanced picture on how this market works. What are the difficult parts, what are the dangers, but also what are the upsides of entering that market.
I mean, just a word of, not opposite of warning, actually a word of inspiration is that even though the times might feel, not as fruitful as they've been like the last 10 years or so, but the public sector, the public procurement is still there, and they still need things, and going forward, there will always be a need for new services and new products. So look into public procurement and look into the possibilities of working with the public sector in whatever entrepreneurship or innovation you're working with.
And you can benefit from the transparency also. Many municipalities, they publish their procurement plans because they need to often set their plans maybe 2 years in advance. And often they are publicly communicated. So you can see exactly what they are going to buy in the coming 2 years, which gives you an idea of the needs they have. Then you can also see the bids and so on, and which suppliers they have already now. In these procurement databases, there's a lot of information that you can find. You can see how the bids of your competitors, etc. So it gives you a lot of information that you can analyze that can help you not only in selling to the public buyer, but to give you an idea of the market as well.
Cool, very good. See, we have some people on as well. Yash from India, hi, and Kulsum from Pakistan. We always have people from all over the world. Really cool seeing you online. Ask us questions. The last minutes here with impact by demand network. It's so new, so I had to, what if anybody is watching this and would want to join the network or know more about the network or understand how to get involved, what do they do? Where do they go?
They contact me on LinkedIn.
They contact you on LinkedIn?
Yes. There's still this is a very new network. It's very based on personal relations and sharing the same engagement for these questions. There is no website, there's no public like that. We might get to that at some point.
Yes.
But for now, it's personal connections. So look up with me on LinkedIn.
I want to give a shout out to the network because they actually started by doing and not only, let's have a website and let's do this.
We have a logo. I did it with an AI tool. It took me 3 seconds.
You have a logo now, okay.
Yeah.
But they didn't start with a logo. They didn't start with the website. They didn't start with the brochure. They actually started by getting people together and talking about hands-on issues when it comes to how public demand can drive and pull innovation. And I salute you for that. Kudos. Very, very well done. But check out, and you're just Lina
Svensberg on LinkedIn.
Lina Svensberg on LinkedIn. Follow her, get in touch with her if you want to get in touch with the network or learn more about the impact on demand network, impact by demand network, or anything public procurement, anything innovation, by the way. You're an expert in this. We're in the same kind of environment here. With that, I will say thank you so much for today. We're in a wonderful crowded environment, but this is part of the whole sort of coffee break thing. I love doing these sessions live from events. Yash, of course, give it a go. Fly over to Sweden or come online, Yash, and do some networking. You can spread the network to India as well. Awesome. Anyway, Innovation Fika every Wednesday, 2:30 p.m. coffee break session with really interesting people. Today, live from Kista, from an event, as you can hear, which is great. I will see you next week, next Wednesday, same place, same time. LinkedIn and YouTube. Bye for now, and thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you very much.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.